chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You need to hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to the
Good evening,
show.
Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Welcome, one and all. We're live. I am here, live and direct, ready and excited for another episode of Sabrina Speaks right here. Good morning, good evening, and even good night to some of you who are staying up late. It's good to have you join me here again on this Tuesday afternoon here in the Cayman Islands. And like I said, maybe it's morning for some of you, night for some of you as well. It's good to have you here nevertheless. But it's time for another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Yes, you know how we do it because we're voices of the islands, conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes a center stage. I am Sabrina. We are broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands, and that happens every Monday to Friday from 5 until 7 p.m. Tonight, yes, we're talking open mic here today. That's what we will be doing. And it's that time of the year. You know, we're going to go over some headlines that we see are making news headlines. But the big thing about open mic is that it's up to you. You call in, you can give me your questions, whatever platform you're streaming us live on. By all means, put your comments live right below and we can bring it up. If there's a particular question you want to ask, I will do my best to try and answer it. Or mid-sentence, mid-topic, whatever it is, you know, we're all for it today. So yeah, it is the summer and we're not going to go so hard hitting, despite there being some persons reaching out to me, topical conversations based on what headlines we're seeing about the place. And if it's worth talking about in the sense where you find that it's important, of course, we're going to talk about it right here on Sabrina Speaks, because we continue to build the space, as we say it, one episode at a time. But please, please, please remember that the views expressed by callers, guests, and online commenters are their own and not those of Bridge Media Limited, its affiliates, the Sabrina Speaks Show, or the host. This program, my friends, is for general information only and not a substitute for legal, medical, financial, or professional advice. Now, all participants are reminded to speak responsibly and respectfully, and any content that is defamatory, discriminatory, unlawful, or harmful is strictly prohibited and will not be endorsed or tolerated. Now, your listener participation implies acceptance of this disclaimer, and I thank you all for joining me religiously every time we go live, and whether or not, even after we're live, a lot of you jump on and you catch up on different episodes if there's a topic or a conversation that catches your attention. And I want you to know that we appreciate you. The number is 345-936-8255 to call in and join in on the live conversation. You can also WhatsApp me there as well, and I'd be more than happy to try and keep up with your comments, your questions, your addition and contributions to whatever discussion ensues here. Because it is open mic, we could switch from topics, change conversations. That's how it is, and that's what open mic is about, of course. But please, Continue to make sure you like, follow, and share the page with your friends, and so that you're always notified and that you're never, ever missing an episode of Sabrina Speaks. Yes, because we continue to build here one episode at a time. It's so funny when I hear you guys see me, voices of the islands, conversations for the world, and you're just actually just spitting it off. And now I'm hearing now as we continue to build the space one episode at a time. All I could do is laugh. I said, well, at least you're paying attention. That's so funny. And but it warms my heart because it tells me that you guys are actually, that my audience is not only hearing it, but they're, it's being stuck. So that's always funny, and it warms my heart, to be honest. And I appreciate all of you for sharing those lighthearted moments with me here. Now let's see what's going on with the weather here this evening. And we got our forecast, as I see my content creators in bloom are definitely blooming and coming through for me here today. Yep, I see you guys. Yeah, but let's see what's going on with our forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. That's compliments of our friends there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. The forecast for tonight and into tomorrow is calling, a synopsis is saying that residual moisture across the area can produce a few isolated showers during the next 24-hour period. Now, slight Saharan dust intrusion is in the forecast for overnight and into early Wednesday. In addition, gentle winds and slight seas are expected due to the slack pressure gradient. And as for that, tonight's forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and slight haze. Temperatures will fall near the low 80s when winds will be east to northeast, 5 to 10 knots. Now, seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And the forecast for tomorrow is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the low to mid 90s with a heat index of 107 degrees. Now, winds will be east to northeast, 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. There will be a high tide this evening at 5:38, a low tide at 11:49 p.m., and another high is expected at 4:25 a.m. tomorrow, followed by a low tide at 11:15 a.m. Sun will set this evening at 7:04, and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 5:59 a.m. Now, the outlook is for an increase in chance of showers on Thursday as a low-level trough is forecasted to move westward into the vicinity. There you have it. That concludes our weather forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. And we want to thank again our friends religiously over there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. My family always laugh at me because they're saying, boy, you got something with weather. I'm just fascinated with it. I am. And that's why it's usually first. We're on an island. Why not? Why not? Why not? I know my boaters look for the tides. So we got a lot of guys, a lot of our listeners and persons who go out and make their living off the water. So why not? I know some people are playing Dora the Explorer right now in Little Cayman. Yeah, they're playing Dora the Explorer. They don't take the plane, they just go over by the boat. Have fun. Do it for me. Let's see what's making news headlines here on the Sabrina Speaks episode for this evening. As I see my commenters are coming in slowly but surely. That's okay. I love seeing you. I saw somebody that was MIA yesterday. Oh, it warms our heart when I see you comment. I was wondering, and I recognized it last night after we came off live. I said, I didn't see that individual comment yesterday, but I'll shout you out in a second. Let's get over the news segment of Sabrina Speaks, starting with local news for today out of the Cayman Islands. Acting Premier Nicholas da Costa has gained valuable insight into regional communications infrastructure during a visit this morning to a specialized subsea cable operations vessel working on the Maya 1.2 reconfiguration project. Now, the vessel supports maintenance of critical subsea cable systems, and Honorable da Costa met with teams responsible for the work. He says the visit reinforces government's commitment to safeguarding the systems that underpin URCO's regulatory mandate. Customs and Border Control is advising the public of a system disruption that is affecting import declaration processing, customer service payments, and all telephone lines. Now, importers with perishable shipments needing urgent clearance are asked to bring their physical documents directly to the cargo processing station on Owen Roberts Drive, where staff will assist. Now, CBC apologizes for any inconvenience and says a further update will be issued once services are fully restored. And in other local news, we see where Cabinet has approved a major two-part plan for the Ironwood Forest and the Linford Pearson Highway, resolving a debate that has lingered for nearly 2 decades. The Ironwood Forest Crown land will move to public consultation for protected area designation, while the long-awaited highway extension along with the forest boundary has also been approved. Now, government says the decision protects one of Cayman's rarest ecosystems while delivering modern infrastructure, statutory road processes, and environmental permitting are now on their way. We will continue to follow that and definitely bring you up to speed as that continues to make its way here in local news. Other local news, we see where the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is highlighting its commitment to professional development following the completion of an intensive critical incidents command training program. Now, supervisory and senior officers took part in scenario-based exercises designed to strengthen decision-making, coordination, and leadership during high-risk emergencies. Now, police officials says continuous training is essential in today's complex security environment and helps ensures officers are prepared to respond decisively to any critical incident. As we take and focus our attention now, we put attention to what regional news has made the Sabrina Speaks segment here for today. Egg farmers across Jamaica are reporting millions of dollars in losses as extreme heat continues to impact their operation. Now, the Jamaica Egg Farmers Association says the soaring temperatures are affecting production and bird health, creating major financial strain for farmers nationwide. Association President Mark Campbell shared the update with News Center on Tuesday, noting that the sector is now facing one of the most challenging periods in years. Other regional news, we see where investor confidence on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange continues to strengthen as the TTSE welcomes West Indian traders as the newest listing on its SME market. Now, the wholesale distribution and fast-moving consumer goods company officially joined the exchange after completing an initial public offering of just over 5 million shares at $2 each. TTSE official says trading activity is gaining momentum as more SMEs tap into the market. Out of Barbados today, we see Barbados Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley says that workers must be paid on time and protected from unauthorized deductions as she defended the new protection for wage bill in Parliament. She reminded lawmakers that a wage packet represents rent, transportation, food, medicine, and dignity, not just an accounting entry. Motley says the bill ensures Barbadians receive what they have earned, backed by enforcement measures with real teeth. Over in the United Kingdom today, we see where in Cambridge yesterday, the King visited Europe's first eco-mosque, recognized for its sustainable design, energy-efficient system, and strong community role. The mosque significantly reduces carbon emissions through renewable technology. Now, His Majesty also officially opened the renewable technology and His Majesty also officially opened the new Whitley Laboratory at the University of Cambridge and Aerospace and Energy Research Center, partnered with Sustainable Markets Initiative to help turn breakthrough innovation into real-world solutions. FIFA has confirmed it is investigating Argentina's conduct following the chaotic end to the 2026 World Cup final, but no final bans have been issued. Now, several players are under review for their roles in the post-match confrontation and for displaying a political banner earlier in the tournament. Now, FIFA's disciplinary process is ongoing, and officials says that their sanctions will be announced once the investigation is completed. And out of the U.S. today, as we wrap up the news segment before going into our business market report for today, the U.S. Treasury has issued a warning to hedge funds over the fast-growing use of tax alpha strategies, according to reporting referenced by the Financial Times. Now, these complex loss harvesting techniques, pioneered by firms such as AQR and Quantino, aim to generate returns by monetizing tax losses. But advisor says that they could face heightened IRS scrutiny. Analysts warns that the strategies rely heavily on leverage and may trigger regulatory actions as authorities examine whether they comply with tax rules. Our business market closing for today, we see where regional and global markets are mixed today as investors track shifting oil prices, geopolitical tensions, and fresh corporate activity. In India, the Sensex slipped 58 points and the Nifty hovered near 24,200 amid cautious trading and softer crude prices. Caribbean business headlines saw Banker Butterfield advance its US $1.8 billion acquisition of CIBC's Caribbean, signaling continued consolidation in regional finance. Now, Butterfield Bank announces the agreement to acquire control of CIBC's Caribbean in $1.8 billion transaction. And meanwhile, Asian markets rebound on strong chipmaker gains as global sentiment steadied despite ongoing Middle East risks. That includes and concludes, yes, the news and business closing markups for today right here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. Good evening to all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Live from traffic. I see you, Brute you. How are you? Let's say before we just start making some trouble with my commenters, who I know you guys love this, I know it, But let's say happy birthday shout outs to all of those persons who are celebrating birthdays today. Yes, we always like to do this segment because any day above earth is worth celebrating. And we wish you many, many more. And I'm hoping that hold on. I think the Honorable Premier is celebrating a birthday today. Did I see that somewhere? Well, if it is, shame on me, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Hey, it is what it is. But if he is celebrating a birthday, happy birthday, Honorable Andre Ebanks. Wishing you many, many more. And for all of you who are sharing this birthday today, we do the same to you as well. Happy birthday from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family. Wishing you nothing but the best, not only today, but looking forward ahead for this new chapter and a new year as you embark. That's how we roll it here. For those even celebrating anniversaries, lots of love, bickering. That's what it's all about. Bickering gets you stronger. Aliano is specialist in that area. Yeah, I dragging him into this, all up in his business, just like that. But you know what? Well wishes go out to all of you celebrating life, anniversaries, birthdays. Happy birthday to all of you. Happy anniversary and happy milestone celebrations as well. And we know all of those persons who are mourning the loss of a loved one. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you as you navigate this challenge in time. Of course, we're not going to forget you guys. Would never. Let's see what's happening in the community. Oh, yes. I saw where the police are reminding the public in Little Cayman to take caution if they encounter any suspicious package or unusual items washed ashore. Now, officer says that these items should not be touched. They shouldn't be moved. They shouldn't be opened under any circumstances. And anyone, this is the Royal Cayman Islands Police is putting out this public advisory, anyone who finds something concerning should keep a safe distance, note the location, and call the police immediately. So residents are also asked to calmly guide others away until officers arrive. Now, reports can be made through 911 or your nearest police station. So I know this is coming like, well, I know one thing. If I walking along the shoreline and I see anything floating up, I gotta look around and bend down and yada, yada, yada. You can hear nothing. Hello? This is a public notice. And the police are saying, if it is not yours and you're seeing something wash up along these shores, what little K-Man is doing one out there, please don't touch it because you don't know who's watching. What a mess if when you bend down and pick that up. Ow. But you'll know what you were doing then. You wouldn't even know. Oh my gosh, but this is serious. So I'm hoping that you could have this conversation around a Luda board, a domino table at family gatherings. What would you do if you are walking along and you see a package? And especially if, let's say, it's compromised and you can see it looks like some currency and not necessarily anything. Yeah. What would you do? It'd be interesting. OMG. But you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's watching. If you could get away with it, if you know for sure you would get away with it, would you do that? Would you take it? How would you live? Would it change your life? Would you be, what do you call it? Flossing? Yeah. Would you? Hey, this is serious. And I thought it was very important for me to highlight it, even though I added a lighter tone to it. These are real conversations that are happening with how time's hard right now. It is what it is. So all fun and jokes aside, this is a public service announcement that was especially for people in Little Cayman to take caution if you encounter any suspicious package or unusual items washed ashore, because they're saying don't touch them, don't remove them, don't open them under any circumstances is what you're being advised to. But it is open mic today. So if that is resonating with you and you got your comment or call in, what would you do? It's an honest question. What would you do? Because I have been in many conversations where, I could take my chances. That's the sentiment. But what risk are you taking with all these air tags now and trackers and all that sort of stuff? What would you do? And another big question. Let's say, for example, it's open mic, so we can go all over the place today. Let's say you do find something and it's large quantities of cash and you do the right thing and hand it over. Do you feel that you should get at least some sort of, especially if it is cash? If it is cash, let's say, do you feel nationally that the person who is delivering it should be awarded something of monetary value? What's your thoughts on that? Drop your comments below or call in 936-8255 and weigh in on it. This is just a general conversation now. This is general. I'm putting it out there. Do you feel, because there have been some allegations that things have actually washed up and they have just bloop. And sometimes when you think it is a substance of vegetative matter or something that looks like Johnson's baby powder, that it's not that. It is actually sometimes foreign currency. These are just stories. I don't have any proof. But when you hear people talking like this and from other jurisdiction, what would you do? Interesting. Welcome. Yeah, so that is that. And I'm seeing you guys come in here. But yeah, it is interesting how you would handle that. North Carolina is in the house. Good evening, Marshall. How are you? What would you do if you found something wash up? Would you look around? Would you kick it? Would you do, hey, you have to tell me what you would do. But truly, it's interesting. Andrew, how are you? Good evening. You were MIA on me yesterday. I didn't see you comment, not to say that you weren't there, but I trust. I said he must be either gone away or I hope he's okay. But it's good to have you. It's amazing mentally how I know, and when I see people are missing from commenting, how it just, I'm like, I didn't see Andrew yesterday, but good evening. It's good to have you commenting and letting me know you're here today. Miss Barbara G, good evening to you as well. I see some WhatsApp questions are coming in. That's fine. I will get to you in a second. And Connie Bonnie is here as well. Bonanunas is her other name. Yes, good evening to you, content creator in Bloom. Liana is saying good evening. I was troubling you. He said he's live from traffic. Oh, thank you for having or listening to us. Annie is here as well. Good evening, Sabrina. She's saying good evening to you. You're confirming, Aliana, that it's hot. Well, my love, tomorrow is going to be forecasted of a heat index of 107 degrees. So all I can tell all of you people that are out there to just hydrate yourself as best as you can, because and look, we're just in July. We're not even at the peak. And because of this El Nino that we're going through, you see, and I did an entire segment on this cooling thing that's steering currents and control the rain and the dry areas. Remember that episode? I wonder if a lot of you are really putting it into perspective of what that episode was about, because it's living out. It is definitely proving itself. And I'm so happy with the research that I did on that. And it's coming to fruition. And we are in that really, really blue zone where we are in a dry area. I'm chuckling because I'm seeing some WhatsApps coming in. And but yeah, what we're seeing in New York the other day as well, they were having torrential rains. And if you look at where the blue and different patches that I was saying of extreme drought, less rain, and all that sort of stuff, New York would have been in the middle or furthest away from the equator. They would have been the ones that have terrible snowstorms. When it rains, it's going to be torrential, flash floods, and everything goes back to that episode that I presented here. So it's very interesting how everything is just coming through, and I'm just happy that I'm able to deliver some of these episodes, well, all episodes with you. But when you can look around now and you can see it all playing out, it gives me a bigger appreciation for just taking the time out and put it here for public awareness so nothing takes you by surprise. Damian Henry is with us as well. Oh, yes, keeping up late with us as usual. He's saying good evening, all. And his quote for the day is, programming is a journey of discovery, not perfection. Every challenge you solve, every mistake you learn from, and every obstacle you can overcome strengthens your ability to think, adapt, and create. Success in programming doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from believing that no problem is beyond your ability to figure out. Thank you, my sweet, my sweet you. Thank you, my dear, for that. And Aliano is weighing in. If I find something, RCIPS, out of luck, yo. The thing is, I can hear you actually say that, I can hear you say that. You see, but to each his own. But it's a risk you're taking. I get it. I've heard that shared quite a lot. Leandro also says, still waiting for that black bag. Well, I'm not even gonna tell you what to do. No apologies needed, my love. I just know that I didn't see you comment. I didn't see you comment, and it crossed my mind afterwards. I was doing something, and I'm like, hey, I didn't see Andrew weigh in today. Real Michelle Teresa, hi, how are you? What time zone are you in today? Still in Australia? Or you're back into this part of the world. Marshall is weighing in on what if you found something, like the police is saying, on cash or whatever. If you find a suspicious package wash up, what would you do was the question that I threw out there. Marshall is saying, if it's money, I'm picking it up. If it's weed, I'm leaving it and moving on. Smart, my fella. Alfred Real, yes, he's struck, my friends. Good evening, Auntie Sabrina, to everyone else. He's also saying, Auntie Sabrina, I love that. Oh, yeah, how you know? I know you would pick it up. You're comfortable too, you see? Oh, my God. So I couldn't even lie to tell you it was a T-shirt. And I got on a blooming duster. This is not a duster. But thank you. I'll take the compliment anyhow. OMG. I thought of it. I thought of it because I said it would look like a duster. How the sleeves are. You are something else. OMG. But I know where your mind is going. And thank you for the image. Oh my God. You are something else. What are we going to do with you, Alfred? What are we going to do with you? Let's keep reminding people. I just got to do this before I go on to the content creation in Bloom, of the public auction that is going to be taking place on August 1st from 10 to 2 at the CBC's grounds. That's at 42 Owen Roberts Drive here in Georgetown. So they're going to be, CBC is having a public auction of undeclared and seized goods, from school supplies, you name it, all sorts of beauty stuff. It's said to going to be here at this auction. So you must come with cash or a credit card, debit card, whatever card payment that is used, and whatever goods you take away, whatever you buy, whatever you get has to be removed immediately. That is something to be reminded of. So I shared that. That's a little housekeeping there. And a reminder of the Prospect Uniform Shop. That's also going to start their opening from 1st of August. Can you imagine? We're almost looking at that. So I'm giving you guys advance notice. August 1st, August 8th, and Saturday, August 15th. All of these days are on Saturdays. And the shop is going to be open from 9 until 3. So there you have it. So set up. And if I get any more as well from any other school, I'd be more than happy to share them as well. This is the one that I'm stumbling across. So there we have it. Connie Bonnie is sharing with us her beautiful desert rose for today. There we go. Look at those beauties. Thank you so much for sharing those with me. Our content creators in Bloom, and bad boy Alfred, what he's sharing with us, fajitas today. This is what he's sharing with us today. That's his orchids of the day, his fajitas. Thank you. Oh my God, between the food and the beautiful flowers, I really hope it inspires you to go out and taste some of the delicious stuff that we have here. And Alfred makes all of us hungry. Oh my goodness gracious. And then you got our content creators in Bloom that wants us to just decorate a nice space outside. Yeah. Rain Valley Nursery as well. If you want any ideas for sure for your yard, you can always check them on your way home or coming into town. That's in Lower Valley there. They're open Monday to Saturday from 7 until 4 p.m. Dawn will be more than happy to help you do that little space and make sure that you bring some light and laughter into your space there. What he's saying now. Okay, Alfred Real is saying, last time I remember CBC Port having an auction, I saw a coffin up for auction. I wondered what goodies are available this go round. Well, you know what? As old as I am, I have never attended one of those. I just don't do good with holding up this, and not even silent auctions I do good at, to be honest. I've never attended one of these, Alfred, so good for you. But I hear you can get some real good deals, real good bargains there. So yeah, that is happening right here in the Cayman Islands. So it is Open Mic Tuesday. I'm not going to come with anything hard hitting, but of course we can't have dead air. 345-936-8255. The number is there for you to call should you want to weigh in. I did get a question in regards to this development here. Hold on, let me pull this up for you. Where Cabinet approved this plan for the Ironwood Forest on Linford Pearson Highway. Just let me get this for you. Okay, I'm just going to go straight to the question. My question is, if government is willing to proceed with a major infrastructure project despite years of public objections, environmental concerns, and changes to the proposed route, what is the practical purpose of public consultation environmental impact assessments? Are they genuinely meant to shape decisions, or are they simply meant to justify decisions that have already been made? Very, very good question. And I am hoping The question is really come out, what's the sense of the public consultation? Because I'm getting, based on this comment, that this question is that there was a general consensus based on those who participated in the public consultation that this was not supported. And here we have it now, that this is going to go forward, and it made it in the news, and that they have done. And of course, I guess they've gotten their stakeholders and all the experts in the House, in the room, to have made sure that this route that is chosen now, it doesn't impact anything on our environment, which was one of the biggest throwbacks of all. But it is a very good question to ask at the end of the day. And this is why some people get deflated. They're deflated, feeling that their voices doesn't matter. And they have these public consultation, and now you're reading an article like this, as the commenter is saying, and it's still proceeding. So the big question is really, are they genuinely meant to shape decisions, meaning these public consultations, or are they simply meant to justify decisions that have already been made? Maybe it is a little bit of both, seeing it from a different perspective. And hopefully with any public consultation, again, but remember, this was not to proceed with it, this is to proceed for public consultation. So don't get that wrong. Cabinet approved it to go with public consultation, but like you rightfully say, silence does not help. If the public is strongly against this, then I suggest the public come out in their numbers, and you have reasons to justify why you are against it. Saying no just because and not have something of substance to justify it is not going to get anywhere. One person or one particular group of persons just doing it or speaking out is not going to do it as well. So this has to be a unified approach. And like what you rightfully say, and not to misunderstand where this is at with Cabinet's approval for public consultation, which was covered in the news segment. If you people feel that strongly against it, then come out in your numbers and make your voices known. Hit social media platforms, go on to various talk shows, speak to your elected representatives, and don't ease up if you feel that strongly against it. If you feel that strongly for it, you do the same thing. And for those who are like, look, I'm over it, Sabrina. You're there. You're supposed to, just deliver as best as you can. You got a show to do, whatever the case may be. No, you could have that sentiment where all I'm going to be doing is blackballing myself. If you speak out for something or against something, it's used against you. Or I can't speak up because of my work. Well, that is another problem. But the question like this, and I'm going to get to some of these comments here that is being put up by Alfred. Oh, he's talking about, well, I felt it. I could have gotten the coffin and hold it on reserve just in case. Well, that would be smart planning, wouldn't it? Wouldn't disagree with you there. The rate things dropping, people drop them like flies nowadays, might not be a bad idea. Alfred also says, Premier Andre Ebanks said in a press release that a small parcel of Crown land, Block 15B, Parcel 392, which is less than a quarter of a full forest, will now go through the process of being designated a protected area. Alfred Reel also continued on saying, however, the rest of the forest remains unprotected and in private hands, though the government will purchase some by compulsory acquisition for the road. And that's a close quote. So I see why you're so strongly against this. Are basically have made the statements that you have made. But people may actually feel that what's the sense? If you're going to do some of these things by compulsory acquisition, it either means possibly possibly, I don't know, and I'm not speaking on behalf of them. It could mean that maybe they've reached out to landowners and can't get anybody, and it has been there for this time, they can't get anybody. Or it could be a fact or similar to the red spot thing where the fisherman bay is on waterfront. That in itself is telling that either the information that they have on their hands from the experts with this Cayman Forward initiative going through. Remember that presentation that we did an entire segment on, that they brought the experts in the room at the beginning before making this decision, and based on cabinet, what was presented to them made them feel that much of satisfaction that they would support progressing this development. I don't know. Until we hear more from them, we will just have to just put your thoughts together, do your own research. And at the end of the day, you know, for almost 20 years, this has been stuck and not moving anywhere, just like Alfred has said. And, you know, how do we protect it is what you're saying, if we're really standing up and saying that we're all about sustainable development and sustainability and protecting some of our areas. And then this comes to pass. But I did pull up some information while I was going through that. And what my findings showed is one of the questions that came up. For almost 20 years, Caymanians stuck on one big question. How do we protect the ironwood forest, one of the rarest ecosystems, while also building a road corridor or growing population desperately needed? So this is where we're saying getting the balance and getting it right. Yeah. So based on this article that we're seeing, and again, weigh in on it. I'm no expert. I'm just sharing with you what's in the public's domain. The news article is on CIG government news platform. And what is saying here is that on July 15th, Cabinet has finally made a decision that tries to balance this area and still go through with the extension of the work. That's of the road. That's a delicate balance. So at the end of the day, protecting the ironwood forest and extending the Linford Pearson Highway, which is the highway that would actually go through some of this very sensitive ecosystem area. But this is still subjected where it's at, which is why I want to highlight that. Even though Cabinet has approved a proposal to designate Crown land, and a portion of that Crown land is that labeled of the ironwood forest as a protected area. But again, my friends, this is still subjected to public consultation. I hear the other questions, don't get me wrong. What this means is that the forest isn't officially protected yet. Okay? The public will get a chance to comment on it. And if you feel that strongly, I suggest y'all get out in your numbers starting from now, because this is public knowledge. Okay? After consultation, the National Conservation Council in itself will send a final proposal back to Cabinet. This is after the consultation. And once Cabinet then signs off, the designation of the protected area then becomes official, and that's going to be done by way of a gazette. So right now, the forest part isn't officially protected yet. That's one key takeaway. But the public still has a right to weigh in on it. Now, what do we want to do? We're hearing people saying we cannot hold any more cars. Just get a better public transport system in place and stop building more roads. Stop, that's where it's going now. This extension of the Linford Pearson Highway obviously is still needed as it ties into the going east as we continue to see our population grow. So in addition to protecting portions of that Crown land that isn't protected yet, Cabinet on the 15th of July also approved the long-awaited extension of the very said highway, okay? And specifically, what they approved is a stretch between, let's get it right, between Outpost Road and Olympic Way. That is where, and that's running pretty much along the forest boundary. I'm quite sure in the coming days, we will have more dialogue on this, more presentations on it as well. I'm hoping it is in the middle of summer, but still, this is happening in real time. It's already done, but it is at a stage where your feedback is critical. And this extension is part of, remember now, the Olympic Way corridor that is improving access to Walker's Road, UCCI, John Ray High School, and also the surrounding neighborhoods. But it is important that no physical construction is what is being stated. No constructions will be done until a full environmental permits are issued. Mitigation measures are also have to be approved, and management plans are in place as well. And survey and also investigation work are already on the way, but still there's an opportunity for you to weigh in and get your feedback. Alfred Reed is saying, my central question is how much environmental impact is acceptable to solve a pressing public problem, and who gets to decide where the line is drawn? It's a combination of both. The people and the elected arm, which you've elected them to represent and make the best decisions. And this is why this caveat is in here before national and sensitive topics like stuff like this, that they do have public consultation. But deep down into where you're going, Alfred, I'm not skirting around it. Trust me. You're saying, what's the sense? Because it seems as though certain things that are already put in place means it doesn't matter what feedback you give. If they're headstrong and they're going to go with it, what's the sense of having a public consultation? I can see why a lot of people would feel that way based on how it's worded and how it's out there. I can see that. So, but if it is in the law that it has to be done, then that's where the accountability part comes in to say, okay, yes, it's in law, but you're not being accountable because, yeah, the law says you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do 20 days this, you have to gazette that. But you know, deep down in the back of your minds, no matter what is said, it's either the culture of the people, they're going to just blah, 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 9-day talk, maybe get somebody to go out or groups of people, pay them some I'm just speaking commentary, get them out there talking, pay them some money to really just blow this up and either for or against it. This is all speculative, okay? And then we're still going to go through with it. And how long can they go on for? Well, I tell you what, if you're all that serious, and I'm speaking to the wider public now, based on the sentiments shared and the comments, then, and you're so adamant against it, let's see exactly who's willing to come out and stand up and speak in one voice to really say, stop this nonsense. Stop all of this. Stop doing this. We don't need it. I'm not for, I'm not against. I love this space because I need to hear your feedback. This could be part of the public consultation as well. And this is just stemmed off of the press release. And from that, I did a little bit digging and, based on the article, Live Happy is weighing in and saying the forest is amazing. I've been in there myself. There's a huge cave inside. And did you know the parking lot of the sports complex is actually a massive cave too? Really? No, I didn't know, Live Happy. Had no clue. You see why you don't know. You don't know. So here we go. You need persons who know the area and who can speak out about it for or against, or be a little bit more clear with the footprint. I don't know. I'm just sharing with you based on the questions and the comments that are coming up. It is open mic. what's coming up here, and we're doing our little digging as we go along based on the article, based on what is in the news article. Okay. Andrew is weighing in and he says, hopefully we will not need to adapt a one car per family as Bermuda. Car dealers will not like that, but unless we have a public transport system that can serve the public, growing population over 100,000 is impacting our society. And it's also going to have sensitive areas like this for continued roadworks. And it's going to get on people's last nerves who are saying, look, enough is enough. Let's stop this. And, you have the government who is obviously comfortable based on the information that has been presented to them, that they're making these decisions from an informed perspective and why they have given it the green light, but subject to public consultation being concluded and the various government departments getting and collecting that information and reporting back to them. Now, we're hoping that at least along the way, that more public discussion and contribution will be taken into consideration. Or if they're only going to take into consideration what is put in writing, maybe they may have some town hall meetings, maybe they may have some virtual meetings, maybe they may come on various podcasts or shows. We don't know. I don't know what the plans are. But right now, all we have is the news article and more to come, I guess, in short order. Live Happy is weighing in to say more additional information. We used to kick rocks on the parking lot and listen to the echo as children. I always wondered if it would cave in with the cars on it. Are you kidding me? But isn't that a portion of the area right now where the new swimming pool is proposed to go? Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I am hoping that all of those persons live happy with what you are sharing here, that are geologists in the environmental impact assessment, not only about the forest area, but the geological composition for what they're about to put within that area and what you are actually alluding to is quite interesting for the structure that is about to go down there. So I think you're onto something, Live Happy. You're onto something. And I'm hoping that wherever that is proposed, the new site for the new aquatic center is not in this area that you're saying that there's a cave. Because there are. My grandmother and grandfather used to tell me there are lots of underground caves that's running from Hogstye Bay straight up to where Himalaya building is right now. Oh yeah. And remember in the last earthquake, it's hollow is what Live Happy is saying. There are a lot of underground caves that I raised up as a child. There's one in the front of my grandmother's yard as we speak right now, an indentation right now. And there's one that go up by Miss Carly's house, which would be in the vicinity of the Himalaya building. Elner's place, rest her soul. There's something there. There was something also, I think, in the back. You see where Georgetown Central Park is, where they have that lake that they had a whole heap of bulrush. There is a hole there that it could not fill. And I remember that as a child where Racket Club used to be, that they were saying there's a big hole up by Racket Club. This is as a child going back. Now that I'm putting it into perspective, Live Happy, that you're saying this, that is exactly what that was by Racket Club, that lake now in the middle of this Georgetown Central Park as a child. And they're saying that from those days, that was caused from all of these underground caves that are running somewhere along Georgetown. And there were a couple that went up by the building right there by the four-way crossing in the front of Adventist Church. There's something there where there's like a big boulder or something. I think there was something in that area. And remember, they had a big sinkhole in the parking lot on the opposite side of where that building is, which would be on the opposite side of the road from the Adventist Church. that a car almost went down into it when he had that earthquake. So very interesting. But hold on. Remember, in the Cayman Forward presentation and in that document, it is clearly explained that with breaking down of silos, putting together egos, finger pointing at each other, that they will bring the experts into the room earlier than later. So this is a prime example of showing an issue where there's systemic problems and not personalities, issues. And for all of the things that is coming out about this and what is about to unfold here, I'm hoping and praying that the necessary geological studies with this environmental impact assessment will be done, because what a mess. What a mess. And this is where, at the end of the day, open discussions, stories like this, many can learn from as well. And I'm hoping that the necessary precautions and testings will be done if this is in case proven to be true. Live happy. It's hollow, you say. Nobody here have ever heard of bulrush porridge. I have heard of it, but I've never had it. I've never had it, but I've heard about it. My grandmother used to talk about it a long time ago. So looking back now at the article or the press release in regards to this, the Premier is describing that this decision is having a dual purpose in the article, in the press release. And he says one of them is protecting one of Cayman's rarest ecosystem. And the second one is delivering modern, effective road infrastructure. Now, some of you may say, we're not saying we don't need it. We're not saying we don't need it. But shouldn't we now be focusing and getting a true timeline? I'm seeing it come in on what's happening with the East-West, where you're still having persons saying, look, it's just too much for us. How much more are we going to bear? And I'm understanding we're getting some comments out of West Bay as well. So in this article, I guess the comments are going to be coming out more and more now that this is dropped. But let's dissect the news article. In the article, he highlighted that there was something also unusual, because he said, the solution came from multiple government bodies that are working together instead of working around each other. Now, isn't that something positive from the Cayman Forward document? That was some of the things that was an issue, and how progress was being either slowed down, halted, or not halted completely, and no one was getting anywhere. So the mere fact that he's highlighted that the solutions came from multiple government bodies, meaning various government departments, working together instead of working around each other, holding of information, that sort of stuff. And the ministries that were involved are health, environment, and sustainability. We got planning, lands, agriculture, housing and infrastructure, education and training, and the University College of the Cayman Islands. Now, this is publicly, and I can see where his confidence is coming in with this because of the most recent release of that document. Because, even though publicly it may seem, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. Why would you not work with other departments? This is a rare example of cross-government collaboration, but it has improved. And you're going to see more and more of this, especially when it comes on a development front, if they're going to be true and honest with the recommendations that were made in that document, which they committed that they will be putting in place. So when you look at that, for 2 decades, this particular project has actually died, has not moved, hasn't progressed. And now you have all of these various government agencies that are working together now. And here you have what they're delivering to say public consultation, but this is what we're going to do. But a bigger thing is that pool. That is where I'm going to right now. And if what that is envisioned to bring to the Cayman Islands, there going to be an increased traffic in that area once that is completed and everything is finalized. Now, let's talk about a little bit about the community impact on this, because it's globally a significant ecosystem. It's not a green space alone in itself. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. And from what we're seeing, and based on other information that was pulled up, the old George giant bromlade, yes, that is, it contains the old George giant bromlade. And that is almost the entire Caymanian population that lives here. And the ghost orchid is there as well. Significant. This is rare. And they're saying that the world's pretty much ghost orchid is in this area, somewhere in there. And there also have been discovered endangered plants that are found nowhere else on earth that is there. And now you can understand why people were just lashing out about this for so long. I can remember being in school. Being in school, or these were the early days, not as loud, but in my young adult years, and was hearing about it. And so this is something that has been going on for a while. Well, you heard it's been stalled for 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. So I can see early discussions probably dating back to late 90s, early 90s, middle to early 90s. I can see the discussions where I would be pretty much in tuned from the discussions. But at the end of the day, protecting this area means protecting Cayman's natural identity. So the educational impact as well, if designated, the forest then becomes a living laboratory for the schools. UCCI, we got local schools in the area, researchers and students studying science, conservation, and Cayman's natural heritage as well could benefit from this area if it is easily accessible. And we are able, without disturbing the flora and the fauna that is in there, using sustainable materials and stuff so that you can access these areas. Now, government is also exploring, from what we're understanding, viewing points and protective signage as well. It's going to be a part there along the road, and the public can appreciate the forest from the corridor itself. So all of these are what is being put in place from what is outlined here. And also, it's a lengthy article, by the way. When we talk about the traffic infrastructure impact, the Linford Pearson extension will ease, this is what they're saying with this extension, it will ease congestion, improve east-west movement, support students' access, strengthen the Olympic Way corridor, and also improve safety and flow in a busy part of Georgetown. And this is responsible planning is what is being forecasted, development that doesn't destroy what makes Cayman unique. But what's your take on it? I welcome your feedback. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Mom. How are you?
I am fine. How are you? Good to hear your voice.
Hi, child. I raised my hole in the fort, trying to keep stress and sadness out, but I just wanted to weigh in on this a little bit. I hear you talking about the sinkhole, whatever.
Yeah.
That you're talking about out there by across from hospital, that on the yard that was a Miss Way. Where government got for parking out, and I went there when the hole had caved in. Went there, inquisitiveness, and they were telling you, must be careful, don't go too close. And me, good thing I had two people with me. But about, well, I can't see nothing because I kind of had it covered, and I went close, and just as I stepped, I could feel that this, and they started, I was like, the sun started to like cave in at me, oh my God. All I could do was laugh, and I say, yeah, they say curiosity killed the cat. But I want to ask, as when he asked us about the bulrush forage yet, and I've heard of that one, but have he heard about cowitch forage and about that yet?
What?
Courage porridge. There was a thing. I never ate the porridge, but I know somebody that ate turtle meat. But
Make it make sense. I guess the kawich itself, they say it's a certain time that must be like a bloom, and then the hairs on it is what actually give you the itch. But who would even dare disturb that to talk about you're going to cook with it?
They were talking about courage porridge, but like I tell you, I never, about to make it. But that older person, but the person that told me about it is there too. But I know about somebody ate courage turtle meat.
Oh, dear Jesus! Well, did they die from eating the kawich turtle meat?
No, they never died, but they were in a bad state. Because I said that were wicked. Whoever put that and give that to them. So imagine if you edit in the turtle meat, you understand that? You understand that coming from the
digestion.
I don't know what they would have put in the porridge, but if you had just ate the porridge itself, because I would think, the meat would
that's a wicked act.
Yes, and I know somebody that ate turtle meat, courage turtle meat, but they're dead now. But that they're dead years afterwards. But that person used to tease me all the time, and then after that happened to them, I say, yeah, you can't tease me now because I got something on you. And then time and they just think they were going to say something, I'll say courage, and they would hush. I had to say courage, and they would hush.
Oh my God.
And that used to tease me. He always used to be molesting me and scratching my back and things. And it was something with him about something and stole chicken or something. And the minute he would come in there to me, all I had to say, oh, you want your chicken barbecue bake or courage? And he was gone.
Or courage. Or courage.
Yeah, he wasn't bothering me. So when that person comes to molest me, I could see them come in. They see me, they used to be smiling. And I said, oh, yeah, getting ready to molest me now. And before they could get close to me, all of it says courage. And they were going like lightning.
Okay.
They would evaporate.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Good hearing your voice as well. Been very interesting.
Yes, Mom. I like that right. Before.
Good for you.
Praying for the best and hoping for the worst. That's all we can do now. I think not pretty, Sabrina.
Aye.
So much stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just take one day at a time, my love. One day at a time.
I don't know what the outcome, but like I say, all we can do is pray for the best, leave it to God, and expect for the worst. I don't know. It's not. But that's right. I can't do nothing at all. If I had a little magic wand, that would work. But I control. I can't do nothing. But it's not good. It's very sad.
Okay. One day at a time, my sweet. All right. Take care.
Mom.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Live Happy is commenting and saying, inside the Ironwood Forest, there's an ancient earthquake crack wide enough to climb down into with a huge tree growing straight out of it. And yes, Live Happy is confirming that they saw the ghost orchids and telling me, Sabrina, it's incredible. Oh, wow. I've never been. I've only heard about it. That what you're actually describing is amazing. Andrew is saying trees and plants are essential to our healthy ecosystem. Hey, Miss Dorothy, how you doing? Good evening to you as well. Good to see you joining us, jumping on the live. And Live Happy also saying, note that UCCI took a smidgen of the Ironwood Forest already. Yeah, it looks as though that layout. Let me see if I can find the footprint here. This is the one that is shared. Where is it? There we go. I don't know how good you all can make this out, but I'm quite sure this. See the UCC campus there? Look at that. See the UCC campus, and what is in the red is this 15B 392, which consists of 10.3 acres. Now, what is in the black area? All that is in the black, all right? That is the forest extent. So there you have all that is on the inside of the black area is the Ironwood Forest. And what is on the inside of the red is Crown Parcel. And that in itself consists of 10.3 acres based on what this image is showing. So this is a little fact check that I did. I pulled this up. the Ironwood Forest, it's 54 acres, the largest remaining piece of Georgetown ancient forests is what it pulled up. And it holds, as Live Happy is saying, plants that's found nowhere else on the planet. And it contains almost the entire Cayman population of old George giant bromblade. And it holds a significant share of, again, the ghost orchids, the world's ghost orchids. The protected area proposal of 15B329 is the crown land portion that will serve as the living laboratory for education and research. Now, when you look at the road corridor, because I pulled it up, it says of 20-year timeline. This goes back as far as 2008. It says it back in 2008, a road through the middle of the forest faced strong public opposition. And then the project itself, again, stalled as we have it here for 20 years. Here in 2026, it is resurfaced and the government has agreed to reroute the road along the forest northern edge. I can't tell you where that is from this, but I'm quite sure you would be able. North is up here somewhere. To the top of the screen. Anyhow, it's saying from the northern edge. And this reroute alignment is now the approved extension that is projected area for protected area. Our boundaries are designed to complement, not delay the road. So the NRA has begun their surveys and investigations with CUC and the Department of Environment. So this is what we see here. Hoping you can make it out, but the 15B329 is the one that will be preserved for protected area that covers that land. So that is the one that will be used as a science lab. So for those of you who are familiar with this area view, you can see the UCC campus, the housing development there, and all of that in that area there. And that is the Ironwood Forest and how far it stretches back. So yeah, it is quite interesting. And I would want to see more on this, and I'm excited to hear more as well, because people just look at this as bush. And if you don't do your research and go back in time, then guess what? You don't know exactly why those people 20 years ago was standing back. But here we are now in 2026 with more updated information, see the demand for putting in of roads. How can we go close proximity to this and still get a balance is where inviting the experts in the room and their trusted recommendations. But this is why your feedback is important. This is why your feedback is so critical. We see where Celia Soler 2666, back in the day, the old folks used to use it to cure intestinal worm. Kawich? Oh, wow. For true. Never heard of that one before. Oh, my goodness. But to cook turtle meat with it? Oh, Lord. Yeah. So there we have it. You know, at the end of the day, we will hear more, I'm quite sure, from our government leaders and officials, because this is of national importance, and I'm quite sure it's going to be very topical, and we can just wait. So right now for the road, NRA continues to survey and do their necessary investigation, and there is going to be a financial impact on this, because we do have the Minister of Finance Minister, who is featured in one of the pictures that we showcased here today. I guess this is when they were out doing their site tours. You can see who's in this. And I mean, it would be smart as one unified government, right? That there must be a financial impact on this. But the Ministry of Finance says that the decision is not expected to materially affect government's financial forecast for 2026. So whatever works that is going to be needed for the year of 2026 financial year, it's neither here nor there. So there's a saying that goes, if they do it, it's 6. If they don't do it, it's still 6. That's that. So This decision is bigger than the road. It's bigger than the forest. It's about how Cayman chooses to grow. And this is why you are actually welcome to weigh in on the public consultation. And I know that some of you are just like, it doesn't matter because they're going to probably go ahead with it anyway. So why bother? But you know what? Just keep at it. If you feel that strongly for or against this progress, with all of the new development, with all of the better communication, with various government departments right now working closer together, they're getting their systems, a systematic way of approaching things improved, then I'm hoping that this will be the perfect example to prove that, okay, look, we're turning a new page, we're dealing with things differently, and better communication, more public discourse, discussion, and taking public feedback for where nationally we want to go. But where do you stand on how we're going to deal with the road and the infrastructure at the end of the day? So let's see. This is obviously something that is a developing story, and of course, your feedback is always welcome. And I know a lot of you are saying it doesn't make any sense whether or not we weigh in on this. If their mind is made up, their mind is made up. What's the sense? And I would hope and pray that that's not the overall sentiment. To be honest, I would really hope that that's not the overall sentiment, because then you lose faith and trust in a system, and then it kind of makes you feel like where's democracy? Which is where I think Alfred was going in all of this. Yeah. So, well, we'll definitely keep a close eye on this, to be honest with you. And we will make sure that, of course, if they're going to come on here, be it on the CMR, Cold Hard Truth, whatever, it will some way, somehow, it will actually make its way trickle down. And we will share that with you. So it's going to be interesting how this continues to evolve and unfold. But the key is your public participation. Okay. It is open mic here this Tuesday, and feel free to weigh in, be it this or something else. 936-8255 is the number to call. I'd be more than happy to take your call and get your feedback on a lot that's going in. I'm not here to answer the questions. I'm here to just put it forward. And we started off there because of the question. And I thank Alfred for bringing it up. It was a part of the news segment, so allowing me then to dig some more information, but look closer into the news, to the article, is why I was able to have some of that information on hand that I could just convey to you. But thank you for your comments as well, for those who are familiar with the area. And I'm hoping that that will widen people's perspective as to why people are so passionate by not disturbing that area at all. They don't care what it's for, whether it's for a road or whatever. They're just saying, look, leave it alone. Don't trouble it. Let's change gears a little bit, because also I noticed today, and we know that it's topical here in the Cayman Islands, but what's making news headlines today? Interesting. France has voted to ban social media for children under 15. And France has become the first country in the European Union to approve a nationwide age limit. Now, President Macron pushed for lawmakers to fast track the bill and says that he will sign it into law ahead of the new school year, which is in September. Now, officials says that this move, with a growing international push to restrict youth access through platforms, is something that is still need to be determined how age verification will work. So we're seeing it where it's making headlines all over the place. And this is not any stranger to us here in the Cayman Islands. We even saw where this in the recent youth parliament, and I think Sandra had played that video with us with the presentation from the young man from Cayman Brac that gave their side as to why they don't support this ban. Very hard-hitting research, lots of time that has went into it. And I was actually at an appointment the other day, and a young adult questioned me and asked me whether or not this was going to come to fruition. And I was a bit intrigued, excited, out of nowhere. They asked me about this, and I would be like, And there were others in close proximity that heard the question, says, you think they're not listening? I said, I know they are. They're underestimated. And this is why we need to listen to our youths. If we're saying we're doing what we're doing now to create a better future or to set pathways, foundation for our future men and women, then at this stage of the game, with the power of social media, with the access to all of this stuff, which is a little ironic that we're trying to ban them, they are more up to speed than a lot of us I can only call myself 52. I don't consider myself old. I consider myself mature. But, I listen to them so much more, which is why I think I hit it off with the young people. And I really like to hear their perspective. So I literally pulled myself forward to hear exactly what was being said. And I had to then slowly but surely break it down to say, look, this is where it's at right now in the House of Parliament, but where they're thinking not being assured of the process, I had to break it down and explain where we are here. But here we are. And these children, these young adults, they are on social media, and something like this is going to be trending, and they will probably have the discussion, well, despite what was said in our youth parliament, see, look, they're probably going to use this France model, and they made it into law. Look, at the end of the day, we are independent from, I'm not telling you that the policy advisors and those individuals who are doing the research behind this does not use other models from other jurisdictions. We even see where the United Kingdom themselves were trying to do some restrictions. But in the young man's presentation, he clearly stated, and he pointed out some facts, that the very same thing that they used to do their homework and age verification is something that how are you going to do that? Bottom line, the takeaway was there's a lot more research that has to go behind this, even if it is somewhat tailored, tempered, restricted to a degree, that it is not as quick as, oh, you banned. Because I have heard some very mature, I would even say responsible parents will be like, well, how are they going to do their research? How are you going to do it? Bella, I'll just make them go on and use my profile. And this is why, my friends, there's a segment that talks about public education, parental responsibility as well. And you have to look at it full circle and not just a outright ban. Okay. So where our laws stands today, right now here at home, the Cayman Islands has absolutely no law banning social media for children under the age of 16, straight up. Yeah. We are strictly relying on child protection laws, cyberbullying and harassment laws, and data protection rules. But none of these laws that we are actually relying on sets a clear age limit at this time. And what happens is that we're seeing here in the Cayman Islands that most platforms use 13 as the minimum age, but children can bypass that very easily. I don't want you to miss the big and the good and the positiveness out of what is trying to be achieved, not only here in the Cayman Islands, but we can see where France is doing this, but the bigger picture of what they're trying to do. So I don't want people just running off, or the young adults hearing this and saying they're crazy, they're out of touch. What are they understanding? We're in a digital era. Trust me, we know what era we're in. I have a 1-year-old and a 9-month, 10-month-old, no, 8-month-old niece and nephew. And if you see them on smart devices, I'm like, how do they even know how to use their little finger to scroll? How they know it? They're my niece and my nephew. It's like these kids are being born, but what are they exposed to at such an early age is what they're trying to curb. There's just certain things, I'm going to be honest, that you're being exposed to in this big world of the internet that is really need to be reined in. And the cyberbullying side of things, the different challenges and stuff. Look at how much young persons have lost their lives in different challenges and stuff. Now, to say that it may not be the solution for all of the troubles and ailments and issues that's happening in the world, no. But at least we are doing the responsible thing, identifying that some of the things that our young adults are exposed to at too much of an early age is having a mental impact. I'm quite sure you can look at it from both sides of the spectrum, the pros and cons. And I'm quite sure that you will find the seriousness of the disadvantages based on what they're exposed to too early will outweighs the advantages. So the question really then becomes here, looking back at home, are we comfortable with letting global tech companies decide what's appropriate for our Caymanian children? Yeah. Or do we really want something stronger, something local, something rooted in our values? And then you're like, okay, oh my God, that's like splitting hairs. And then you're sending this off to Europe, you're sending us off to UK for further studies, United States, Canada, wherever you decide to go. Why have us so sheltered? These are all very important questions, but sometimes just exposing is the general discussion a little bit too early is what's the problem. I know that there will be a flip side of this, of the type of environment and the home that a lot of these young men and women come from, children come from, that they are exposed to certain things far worse than probably what their algorithms are pulling up. Well, then you know what? That's a bigger problem. Then maybe MASH may need to get involved. Because you've heard some of the complaints that are coming out of the schools and we're seeing some of the things. Maybe they're just maybe some more issues that are going on in the home, but nationally, there's a responsibility. And when you see the world is looking at this from a national, global perspective, then it's the responsible thing for the Cayman Islands to look at our own issues here. My take would be include the young people more. There were a lot of very valuable information that was shared from the youth parliaments for and against debate. And I feel both sides of the official parliament can benefit if you look at what those young men and women contributed who were for it and who were against it. And that type of research at that age, even though it's a project for make-believe young parliamentarians, that is real stuff that they're putting down. And I feel we all can learn a lot from them. Live Happy is weighing in and saying, from marbles to social media. What's next after social media? Things they are fighting for now will be like boring 10 years from now. I remember when Walkman was banned in school. Can you imagine that's true? I remember when CDs was a big thing. And then all of a sudden you had this little flash thing, the little flash drives that could, and you were like, what the heck is that? You know how much music I got on this? It's not just limited to one artist. I can download all this stuff and you're looking at it. So you're quite right. Live Happy, at the rate in which we are evolving and even digital era, it's hard to keep up. But are we wrong for doing what we can as human beings to put the necessary safeguarding things in place nevertheless? Because at the flip side, on the other side of things, wouldn't it look a little irresponsible as a country to know that there are serious pros, but even more serious disadvantages for the amount of exposure? And this is why you have to look at this and be objective, but be open to hear both sides. But I think nationally, which is the big challenge and task that any elected government has to do, is that they have to strike the right balance. Don't do something just because of this, France. Don't do something because of that. But really look at statistics and information that we have locally and really make a decision that is unique here for us. But the thing is, banning of social media and all this sort of stuff, this is global. This is global. This is something that I feel every country will be grappling with, and how we actually protect our young children from what they subscribe to, where is going to be a hell of a task. Yeah. Because our telecoms, I mean, I'm no engineer, I'm no expert, but I'm just trying to look at it in my little way and listening to all of the contribution. It's going to take a lot of parental responsibility in order to make this work. And this is why, at the end of the day, children under 15 right now, in reality, cannot create new accounts. They can't. What you see in France right now with their social media ban as of July, that is today, what they did is that children under 15, so they can lie. How are you going to prove that I am really not 15? How are you going to do it, right? And existing accounts that are in that's created for under 15s must be closed by January of 2027. So what France is doing right now is that they're giving a cleanup time, telling all of those account holders of 15. Now, whether it's going to work at the end of the day, I don't know, because you don't even know who you're speaking to. Let me be straight. Let me tell you this. I don't know who Live Happy is. No, I don't. I don't know if Live Happy is a minor. I'm just using this as an example. I don't know. If Live Happy is, let's say, a minor right now, how would I know that? It all depends on who's behind a lot of these names and profiles and all this sort of stuff, unless you're going to be using facial recognition. And then, okay, fine. I get my big brother or my big sister who is definitely over 15 to do it. And every time they log on, then they just give me the device. I'm just going far afield here. Or is it a case where the camera on your devices is always watching? So if you share it with somebody that's younger, it automatically shuts down? Hello? How are you going to manage that? I don't know. My mind just went crazy on that. But it's really, I would love to see this roll out based on what France is saying. And what they're saying is that platforms must use government-approved age verification. What does that mean? If users cannot provide that they're 15 years or older, then the accounts are shut down. Okay, fine. That's the account. But let's say you pass all of that verification. There's nothing wrong with you sharing that device with someone who's under 15. So also, what is coming out from France is that they said that they've made this move after national health agencies have reported a rise in teen depression, increased body image pressure, harmful algorithmic content, and addictive screen time patterns. And what they're saying out of France is that Macron said that social media has robbed young people of their attention. And there are other global moves as well, because Australia has a ban for under 16s. Cyprus, Turkey, France now have strict age limits. And a survey showed that 75% of Europeans support minimum ages. But enforcement is still, guess what? A challenge everywhere. Yes, they're going to have a problem enforcing this, because if enforcement is hard, as results are mixed right now, Should we, as the Cayman Islands, still consider a ban or focus on other tools? Very interesting, isn't it? Live Happy is commenting and saying, I would ask them, what would they do if there was no social media? Pose that question to them the next time. The young people, what would they do? But you know what? Live Happy. Some children would not know what life is like in the Cayman Islands without a Camana Bay. Think about that. Some kids have grown up, have come into this world not knowing or would ever know what life was like in the Cayman Islands without Camana Bay. That's all they know. So it comes back to your question. I would ask them, what would they do if there was no social media? If they have born into an area where that's all they know, that's like me trying to convince somebody about some place in Georgetown and they have never left nor side. That would be like me and them having a debate over the capital of the Cayman Islands, Georgetown, and going at it hard, but they have never left nor side. How do you have that or ask that general question to kids who have only born and raised up in an era where they have social media, where they only know nightlife, going to Camana Bay? You can't have that debate because they don't know. They can't relate. They can research it, but they would not be able, and I'm timelining myself. I know what life was like at a young age without a Camana Bay. I know what life is like without access to internet, social media, and all that sort of stuff. And I was speaking to a friend earlier on today. You know, I consider myself, and maybe you too, Live Happy, as the last of the hybrids. How I came up with that. As a child born in 1974, I had to think about that. Ooh, when you do that thing now, when you're doing your age on thing, it seems like it never ends. Anyhow, I digressed for a sec. As somebody being born in 1974, look at where this is now. We went to school. They were just introducing class in 1990. They were just introducing computer studies. You had to be in set 1 or set 2. Typing classes was still, let's go for it. And then we graduated. Some of us went off to university. Some stayed, made life for ourselves. And we continued to see the use of dial-up computers. We had to get into this. We had to be introduced to emails and all this sort of stuff. Fax machine was the way to go. The big old cement block phones, the flip, all of those different things. We were still at some point during my age using the rotary phone or the push button phone. And then we went to cell phones. When you look at a certain age bracket, we are the last of the hybrids where we can honestly say we've experienced what life was, that I caught the last of my grandparents' seafaring days, the slaughtering of the turtles out in town, Miss Irish shop, Mr. Willibodden, the old English shop on Waterfront. And I can now see where Bada was there, by right, Kirk Plaza. How many can actually now talk about none of those things being there? We've survived. Here I am on a live podcast. But I was very lucky to have even gotten to computer studies because I was in set 2 for math. And that was where it stopped. And bless Mr. Albin's soul. He fought for me. May his soul rest in peace, because he knew I was mature and I could do it. He gave me an opportunity to get into computer studies. We are the last generation. So it would almost be an insult for us to ask a certain age group what you would be doing if there was no social media. They would be clueless. That's just a fact. And this is why we got to up our ante. Get them around the table. Do not take what they say personal, because we are the last of the hybrids that can see it from both spheres. Kerosene oil lamp. Yeah, I can remember those age. Only Radio Cayman is the only radio station. These kids do not even know what it was like to hear that. I can hear the jingle now in my head with Radio Cayman, with the Music Express in the night. Yeah. Can you imagine? I remember when ICCI was the other option, their radio station. That makes me sound ancient to some of these young people, even to my own children. So there's just certain conversations that we really cannot have and expect that age group to even be able to relate, because they were born in an era that now we're trying to regulate because it's in their best interest, and would expect them to understand, because we were fortunate enough to have raised up in a time where there were no computers, where we were still using carbon for credit cards, where there were no debit cards. You still had bank books. You look at some of them. I saw a thing on YouTube the other day where a kid was using a phone, a landline that was at his grandma's, I think he called her Mima, house in the US. And the mother said, he looked at this thing on the wall and he's like, what's that? I think he was about 13, 14. And she's saying, it's a phone. And he's like, a phone? What do you mean a phone? And she said, it's a phone. Pick it up. And he picked it up like it was something, like how I was reacting to some of these icons, fearful it would blow up. He picked up the handset off the wall. It was the push one. And he said, the mom or the adult in the background said, like, call Andrew. And what do you mean, call Andrew? Press the numbers and call Andrew. He was so confused because he had to remember, for example, Andrew's number. So they told him the number. He punched it in, like literally fearful of pressing the numbers. Well, when whoever answered the phone on the other end of the line, they're like, oh my God, it works. That's Andrew, for example. And he's asked, do you know what I'm talking to you on now? And they're like, yeah, you called me by phone. No, I'm speaking to you and it's coming out of the wall. Now, how can you really say, boy, you dumb, when that kid has grown up in a life where all they're used to is a smartphone? That was like, oh my God, this is so weird. I'm talking to my grandma out of a wall. Yeah. So it's very interesting. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, but I really feel if we want to get it balanced, if we want to get it right, the last of us hybrids who can see the best, or who have had the privilege of living in both worlds, and we're forced to learn where we're headed now, I think we need to give ourselves a round of applause for not capitulating to the fast pace of digital evolution. I don't consider myself old, but as a class of 1990, even my aunts and all of those that are 10, 15 years older than me, and I'm seeing them on social media, I'm seeing them working in their workplaces on computers and all that sort of stuff. I say we need to give ourselves some grace, because we wasn't raised up in an era where everything was electronic, and we are running our businesses, we are performing in our jobs with something that was never taught to us. We were forced to learn it. And then you have those who were being born in an era where that's all they know, but yet this is no blame. Why are they so stressed? Kind of makes you wonder. And this is by no means pointing any fingers at them. I have 2 children of my own, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Why are y'all so stressed? This is not bashing. What we could do, and this is not comparing, what we could do, juggling everything, and not getting stressed. Where have we gotten wrong? Where something not connecting? And this is why I welcome a younger person's feedback all the time, because we got to get the communication right. We are losing control. We're losing connectivity of our young men and women because of, yes, modernization, technology, and we ourselves are playing catch up. But I say, give ourselves some grace because we did a damn good job having to be forced into this when they were born into it. And that's just a norm for them. So I think a lot of the clashing that are coming together is because we're not identifying that we're the last generation of hybrids that can actually share what I shared with you in real time and still be relevant today. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit. Connie is saying, what the need to do is ask for is, that is what they can't have two profiles. Oh, okay, you're talking about the accounts. Wake up, Cayman Islands. The social media companies need to be the ones who force the ban. Here in the United Kingdom, the children are banned from purchasing energy drinks and vapes. All shops enforce that. Andrew is also weighing in and saying, we made and create fun things to do without cell phones. Xbox, Facebook, good, clean fun. Football, riding, seas, waves. Yeah, that's true. I can remember doing that in Cayman Brat and picking up a lot of sea eggs too. More personal interaction is what we did. Changing times have created a big paradigm shift with how we live and interact. Cell phone with face-to-face when we just had airmail and send letters to our loved ones and wait 2 weeks for a response. Remember pen pals back in the day? Wake up, the Cayman Islands is saying it's not really the device, it's what's on it. You are quite right. And what they're subscribing to. It's very interesting how we're going to evolve though. But to be honest with you, when you look at both sides of the coin, you can't ask somebody something if they can't relate to anything else otherwise. And it's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of understanding. It's going to take a lot of cool heads and the ability to see from both sides. And at some point in time, there is still a level of responsibility, the right thing to do, and not just let it fall along the wayside. Because I know some may actually question me because I ask, and sometimes I even listen to my own son. I'm stressed out, yo. I just can't take this. And I'm like, talk to me. And deep down within me, when they explain to me what's going on, I'm like, but have you looked at it from this perspective? While in the back, the other engines are saying, why are you stressed though? Why should that put so much stress? Again, I can't beat him up for what he don't know. It's not until I break it down and I say, well, look from this perspective. Look at it from this angle. But then that's a willingness to hear me out from a different perspective. Not all are built the same. I still say I am blessed for having raised two young men. I am blessed, respectful, and they still hear me out, even if they want to say, scuff me every now and again. Some way, somehow, they always come around and they're like, okay, I can understand why you see it that way or why you would say it that way. But I'm still blessed with them being able to still speak to me on a level, and I still allow myself to hear them out. Mine, sometimes I feel like I can strangle them, you know, but then I gotta say, look, you created them. You created them. Hear them out. Hear them out. Just see it from their side. But maybe not everybody has the amount of patience that I do. Andrew is weighing in and saying technology is good, but a mind is beautiful. A mind is a beautiful thing to waste. Read and learn more. But everything right now, Andrew, is at the speed of light. It's just, the thing is that I see often is that it appears as though certain age group, just how you key in like a Google search or whatever, search engine you use for certain things, that's how pretty much life should be. That's how quickly results should come. And I stand to be corrected. I stand to be corrected. But it looks as though it is heavily influenced by, yes, what is seen and what is shown on public display, which most of the times it's only the good side of what people want to show you that they make public. And that's people's business, what they want out there. But a lot of it is not real either. And it's causing some unnecessary pressures, unrealistic expectations. Now, mind you, some people make millions. They become millionaires by how they understand social media and how it works. They have followers, you have influencers now and all this sort of stuff. You have that conversation with a 70-year-old, 80-year-old person. What are you talking about, influencer? Child, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean? But he's only 13. How can they be a millionaire? Well, you see on social media, and you got to break that down. But he never hit a day of work in his life. Oh, yes, he has, but it's all on the digital platform. What do you mean digital platform? Sitting in the front of the computer? Yeah. That's the speed in which we're living. And not everybody gets to that level with the amount of followers, willing to put in the type of work, dedication, or just strike it easy with even the content that people are now subscribing to and become a millionaire or create some kind of app that can make you a millionaire. Just like that, we're having more persons under 25, under 30, becoming millionaires just by the creation of apps than we've ever seen in our lifetime before. Some have never even put a foot in university or college. But because of the technical era, obviously, they're understanding the digital space. A lot of them are fast tracking what some of us have used all of our lifetime to make an income, to work for other people that we will probably never have. I'm seeing friends who have young children that are trying to say, having a hard time saying, look, focus on school because, this is what it is. And their feedback is, no, there's a possibility I could just drop out. Or, I just want this over. I want to come out and start my own business. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was like, well, how are you going to understand the basic concept of starting your own business if you don't have the necessary qualifications to do it? No, I can do it. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks with 3 minutes to go.
Okay, man. Yeah, if we could go by, it would be hard to have that conversation with the generation of today because they didn't grow up when we grew up. I remember the last Father New Indian, and it was in Kirk Market, the Kirk parking lot there, where the old CIBC parkers, CIBC building it.
Yeah.
For Caribbean, and it's like, I remember where Marner's Cove was up at Prospect there, at being able to get from there down into Georgetown within less than 15 minutes.
Right.
Those are the things you remember, and you have the memories of them. And every year I go by and I have CDs of Ivan. I have photos on CDs, and I go by and I look at the places that were damaged. Full Island was, and now I look at what is there, and the change is so different. But yeah, we grew up with rotary phones, and it was a good thing. You waited for Radio Cayman so that things to come on on Saturday night, and you were happy it went till 12 o'clock. And then you listened to Radio RJR, and you were all on your porch, and your fans were going, and you were happy. And it was a different era, and one that I was blessed to be able to live and see the changes and see where we've come. But the internet can be a wonderful thing, but it can be a dangerous, horrible place. So I don't know how they're going to police it, but I'm just going to end with this. I have another video I'm going to send you about Cuba, and I'll call Friday if I'm around. talk about it if you have an open mind.
No, what we're going to do for the remainder of the time, unless I have guests, we will have, I honestly just prepare talking notes anyhow, because I have to have content for 2 hours. But at any point in time, even if it's labeled a specific topic, I'm using the next 2 weeks pretty much as open mic. I'll stop mid show. I know some people are saying, well, I'm tuning in to hear about this. Why would you do that? So, but I have to have content. And if no one calls in, I have to have something to talk about. So I'll always have something to talk about unless somebody calls
that's
in.
Good. Yeah, we have to keep the flow going.
Correct.
But it shows us the countryside of Cuba, which is Baracoa, the other end of Cuba. And he has a perfect, Cuban is so educated that it makes some people look, I don't know what. This gentleman is very educated. I think his name is Steve, and he speaks proper English. And he's carrying him, and he's going through Baracoa. Baracoa was the first place Columbus landed on Cuba. And some words to this effect was, this is the most beautiful place I have ever seen. And I'll send you that video, but we have to do more because there is an urgent need. A humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Cuba, and it's going to be a famine because they have nothing. And when you see the lush greenery in the countryside, Cuba has such fertile land that it could fuel agriculture, feed us in the Caribbean, and feed the world. And it is sad to see how our people are suffering. And I want people to see that video. Because he is such an amazing, and he's an American living in Spain with a Venezuelan girlfriend. But he goes to Cuba to do what he can, and he finds some amazing people to take him throughout Cuba. You got to see, they grow cocoa and everything, and it's women that is growing it. You got to.
Okay, well, send it through.
So I'll send it,
and then I'll have to upload it because sometimes it takes a little longer. So I'll try to do it ahead of time.
The world has to do more, Miss Sabrina, because they have nothing. They're literally starving. So have a good evening. And
likewise, my love.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to police it. I don't even know how it's going to work.
No, I don't even try to wrap my head around it because, like I said, if you listen to the Parliament, the youth Parliament the other day, both sides came with firing guns. And I mean, just getting it right. It's going to be
it right
exactly. Exactly.
You want to go on this, you want to do that.
Exactly.
How do you do it? I guess it's freedom, and we're going to just have to leave people to their choices. That's how I look at it.
It's true.
Anyway, have a blessed
my love.
And we chat some more.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
Bless.
Take care, sir.
Bye-bye. You too.
Bye-bye. Live Happy, you something else. Live Happy said, I'm not a scroller. They said, my battery lasts 2 weeks. Oh, my gosh. And then further says, if stop them and ask them man to man on the street a question, they would not be able to answer the question without Google because they can no longer think for themselves. I could be honest with you, what it is. I had to laugh today because, again, speaking with a friend, I was asking a question because I call them Bell South. Anyhow, I said, do you know who owns this company, or do you know who's affiliated with the company? Well, why you won't go to chat GTP? I'm like, what the heck? There's a reason why I called you. And this is funny. So you're on to something, but this is where the demand for all of that is coming. And it could actually get us very lazy because we're no longer forced to learn things on our own. We are totally dependent on tapping it in and making some AI system do all the work for us. So you're on to something, Live Happy, because I'm seeing it play out in just a simple question. Oh, just go chat GTP, dig it up. That'll do it. It's amazing how we talk about that. Miss Lucille, good evening to you. What, you up pretty late? Oh my goodness. She's saying, good evening, Sabrina and everyone at home. Love you all. Blessings on your beautiful island. Love you all. We love you as well, Miss Lucille. You're up late. Go to bed, but love you still. Now it's 7:00, and that brings us to the end of another episode of Sabrina Speaks here. And yeah, like I said to that last caller, that we are going to be having for the next 2 weeks, as I plan to take some time off. I'm still trying to find out exactly what week I'm going to go. But in that time, It's gonna be, even if I do a promo to say, well, this is what we will talk about, yada, yada, yada. Come on, man. It's summer. A lot of people are traveling, a lot of people in relaxed mode. If there's some sort of news article that comes up or something that is topical, we don't mind changing and steering our conversation, but your participation is key, and you're the captain of the ship here. Until such time, I still have to provide information to have, thoughtful conversations to bring up and topics to discuss. But at the end of the day, you are the captain of the ship. It has been a pleasure bringing you again another episode. I'm hoping we continue to learn here, one episode at a time. And I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please be safe on the road. Love you lots. Good night. And thank you. See you tomorrow.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.